Hello, it's Scott Manley here. Today I am going on a grand voyage in Elite Dangerous. We are at Nebula Terminal. If you remember, this is in Yembo. This is where they are currently constructing a space station. The Exploration Guild or whatever, Universal Cartographics, are inviting pilots to help build a space station. And I'm going to use this because it's on the edge of known space. I want to head off to the California Nebula. Now, I'm picking the California Nebula because, well, I live in California, and because it is about 1,000 light years out. In this case, it says, yeah, this is the Perseus dark region on the far side. So you gotta, what I do is I adjust the camera and kind of slowly move in until I find it. You can actually just search for California and it will pick a random star in the region. But I just kind of want to get an idea of how deep it is, how far you have to go to get inside the nebula. There we go, 900 and something light years out. The 1,000 light years thing is partly symbolic because it's a nice round number for us humans, but also because it's just at the limit of what the navigation system will do in the latest version of Elite Dangerous. So we can plot courses out to 1,000 light years. Beyond that, it will say no. And obviously the reason I'm doing this is because I want to explore. I want to get some exploration data. There's a bunch, you can see there's a bunch of stars that I'm going to have to stop at on the way over there, and I hope to collect their scientific exploration data and then sell it for profits. So I have a Cobra Mark III fitted with the detailed surface scanner and the advanced discovery scanner. Those are basically the best pieces of exploration equipment you can fit. Also, I have the best fuel scoop I could find because I'm going to be so far from home I will not have any stations to stop at. So this will probably be the last station I see for a good long time. I'll admire it as I head out through the air shield into deep space and then into the, I don't know, the alternate dimension that is hyperspace. Okay. Ooh, looks like there's a fight going on. Either that or it's a light show to see me off on my grand voyage. Truthfully, it's not that grand. There are people who have got a lot further than 1,000 light years. I'm just doing it because I haven't really gone far into space exploring. Ah well, yes. Looks like he shall live to fight another day. Okay, so that's roughly, you can see the California Nebula there, right below the target. Call 285 sector, MZU 8174, 18.2 light years. Okay, so early on I start using the large, you know, the fastest route, but once I get out into deep space, I start using the shortest route. Anyway, here I go, flinging my body across the stars at speeds unimagined by us Stone Age level humans. Yes, speeds which us 21st century physicists believe to be impossible. Okay, so first thing, I start charging up my my discovery scanner, right? This is the advanced discovery scanner. Bing! And it finds 12 new objects. It covers the entire system. And then I immediately target the star in front of me, and you'll see the scanning going on in the bottom left. That is me performing a detailed surface scan of it, collecting all the data that I need. Now, whether I scan the rest of the planets in the system depends on whether I think they will be good candidates. So early on I tended not to do that. Now, as I was leaving space, I was still getting pirate encounters, including Susie, who turned up in a Python, and I put paid to them. Unfortunately, well, we were so far away from any habitable region, I did not have a kill warrant scanner, so despite being victorious, I got no reward for my troubles. And then my next problem was that my course was bringing me through a large number of Brown Dwarf and T Tauri star systems. These, unfortunately, while they aspire to be stars, they do not provide me with a scoopable chromosphere that I can exploit for fuel. Brown dwarfs are hot, but they're not generally undergoing nuclear fusion, so I could catalogue them, but I had to start taking very short jumps to make sure that I didn't run out of fuel. So if you don't know, the fuel consumption used in hyperspace actually goes as a power law. So at a basic level, if you jump half the distance, you use a quarter of the fuel or less. The actual power that's used is dependent upon the ship class. Turns out also, getting interdicted near a brown dwarf causes some trouble. Temperature critical, 148 degrees, 148% heat. Now, despite this being an eagle, which I could very easily beat, I was far more interested in trying to get out of here, putting some range between me and them, putting all power to the engines, and boosting out of here. As long as I keep my temperature below 150%, I would be okay. Now, if I got into a fight and started using the lasers, it would be very easy for me to push my hull temperature over 150% and start taking damage, not just to the lasers, but to all sorts of parts of my ship. So that is why I turned tail and ran in the face of a target that was ill-equipped to deal with my Cobra Mark III. Finally, my frameshift drive is finished cooling down, and I turn it back on so it starts warming up. So I want to align with the escape vector, and you can see this 25, 126, 30. Oh, I'm gonna go over 150. Not good. Taking a little bit of hull damage. When you're exploring, overheating is very likely to be your biggest problem because you will be smart and run from most enemies. However, you will sometimes find yourself jumping out literally into the chromosphere of a star and trying to figure out how to get up to hyperspace speed without burning up the rest of your spacecraft. If you do find yourself in that situation, it can actually be really helpful to turn off your shields, because your shields are one of the most power-hungry parts of your spacecraft, and you don't need your shields to get into frameshift drive. Anyway, I have escaped from this desolate region. Will the next star have something which I can scoop? Uh-oh, no, I know that grey-white colour. That looks to me to be a T-Tauri star. A T-Tauri star is a protostar which is still forming. It has very large winds around it. So I drop out of frameshift, and I can continue to scan it from here. I'm not going to fly in any closer because I don't need to scoop the star, and I saw a pirate on the scanner. So because I've dropped out of frameshift, I will not get a pirate encountering me here just yet. So I have evaded them, but I have to continue. Nope, it's another T-Tauri star. And then another. Getting very low on the fuel here. It's a brown dwarf. And another. It's another brown dwarf. Oh, and come on, we're really burnt. We're running on fumes, or whatever this passes for. Oh, this could be it. This could be an M-class dwarf, red dwarf. Okay, we have 10 objects in system, and we have a star. Move in a little close to see if my scoop will start working. Hallelujah! Excellent. Fuel is now coming into my tanks, and my voyage shall continue. I mean, it's really important you don't get stuck out in space because you won't have any friends to help you, refuel you. So you see, I've got, a few hundred light years out, still have a long way to go, and it becomes a long, slow process. But the good news is that since you're out beyond known space, no matter how far, well, wherever you go, you're going to be discovering new things, and you're going to be potentially getting money for all those discoveries. This is why, if you go this far, you really want the advanced discovery scanner so that it collects all of the pings for all the objects. But even though you're 500 light years out, you might not be the first person out this way. You're going to find a lot of systems that now have this first to discovered by tag, but that doesn't mean you can't make money off the systems. It's just you make more money if you're the first person to discover some of these objects. What I'm really looking for are life-bearing planets. So I'm looking for things that are massive enough and close enough to the star but not too close. So I'm trying to pick out the good candidates. Icy worlds are not worth a lot. Rocky worlds aren't worth a lot. High metal and metal rich planets are worth a great deal. Water worlds are worth more, Worlds that can be terraformed are worth even more still, and of course actual life-bearing worlds, those are the places you want to find. Those are worth something like 30,000 credits. And then, of course, if you're the first person to find them, you get a 50% Discoverer's bonus, and the detailed surface scanner gives you another 30% on top of that. So, you know, a single life-bearing planet is extremely valuable to you. And not only that, you can also scan the moons of some of these gas giants. The moons around the gas giants do tend to be icy, but since you have to fly up to the gas giants to scan those, and you'll find that you might as well end up scanning these things. Most of your time with the scanning is literally spent getting into range, and then you have to sit there for about 15-20 seconds while your detailed surface scanner does its work, brings in the bacon, and of course stores the data on board your ship. Now, even though you'll find a lot of systems already discovered, you'll find plenty which haven't got discoveries. Now, this is a great one that I found. It has a lot of high metal content planets. Generally, the brown dwarfs will all have icy moons because brown dwarfs aren't hot enough. You want at least a main sequence star, and then you want to make sure the planets are close enough and look large enough that they're likely to be good candidates for high metal and life-bearing. You can also tell from the icons what kind of planet candidates they are, but obviously you can't get the exact data unless you get right up to it. Now you see I'm getting pretty close to the California Nebula here. It's looming larger in the sky as I travel forwards. Closer still, and the California Nebula starts to fill my canopy. Now, the California Nebula, if you don't know, is an emission nebula. It is actually very faint. It's essentially a cloud of hydrogen in the sky, which is getting illuminated by a hot blue star called Menkib. This excites the gas and then causes it to emit in the hydrogen beta spectrum. So if you really want to see these things, you generally have something called a hydrogen beta filter that you'll put on your telescope to bring out the specific color of the nebula. Now, after about a day of traveling, I was deep inside the California sector, continuing my travels trying to get closer to the middle. But then, well, something in the game didn't quite work, and I ended up getting a connection error whenever I tried to jump closer. So I decided it was a good moment to turn back. You can't get paid unless you bring your discoveries home, including this particular one of a gas giant with water-based life in the atmosphere. Gas giants are worth more than your average planet, and a lot if they have life. Gas giant with water life, a high metal content planet as well, methane-rich atmosphere. But not far below the surface exists life based in water cloud layer, just below the atmospheric surface. The chemistry of this gaseous region is far from equilibrium, with a surprising excess of oxygen and many carbon-based compounds, giving it some vivid colours. As with many such gaseous living systems, it is underpinned by vast quantities of free-floating oxygen and water and all sorts of awesomeness. So the journey back, well, I can search for Liste, which is where I store one of my ships. Just over 1,000 light years to go. Will be a long trip. Quator, I can at least plot a course for there. Now, I actually made a point of making a turn when I got out to the nebula and going vertically so that the path I took back would be different from the path I took there. There's no sense scanning the same old systems more than once. So if you go out in a loop and then come back, then you're going to make more money that way. Also, to note, you don't need to go way out into the middle of the unknown to actually do exploration. You can do exploration within the bounds of human space. You will find star systems that have unexplored bodies on them, and the default spacecraft will have the hardware for you to scan that should you want to make a little bit of extra cash. Now, you can only scan them once, and you don't get you're very unlikely to find a system which has not been explored by someone else previously. So you're unlikely to get the 50% founder's bonus or your name on a planet, but it is a free source of income which you should absolutely exploit early on in the game. Of course, I mentioned that to get the money, you need to actually return the data to a station. You have to fly back. And therein, of course, lies a little bit of a problem, because of course you can see this pirate coming in at me there in the left window. So I begin to start turning around. I wanted to scan that star first, but I realized that perhaps this might not work. I'm moving away from the star so I can cool down, and I try to hyperspace out and I'm torn. Should I try to align with the escape vector or align with the place I'm trying to hyperspace? Don't know, this isn't gonna work. And what's interesting is I thought if I was aligned with this, yeah, bang, it didn't work. Oh, and my spacecraft groans. That's painful, the sound that it makes. Solly Mulligan is dangerous, and he's in a Cobra Mark III, so he is more than a match for me, I don't doubt. I'm fitted for exploration, he is probably fitted for killing. So I, of course, make like a tree and leave, or get out of here, move as fast as I can away from this bad guy that's trying to kill me. If I die, I will not get hours and hours of exploration data. It will disappear in the wreck of my ship. I will lose it forever. So getting out is very, very important, which is why I'm running. I mean, this actually got pretty stressful because I had been playing, this whole trip had taken probably about 20 hours. If you watched the live stream on Saturday, you'll know that I was just scanning stuff for like 3 hours and just chatting with people. It was probably the most boring live stream ever, but, you know, that's what exploration is, I guess. Finally, however, I get to HIP 26037, and I find a station called Tucker Landing. Tucker Landing, a small outpost on the edge of human space. We have system authority vessels here as well, Vipers. I'm hoping that I haven't broken any laws and these people will be nice to me. They're part of the HIP 26037 co-op. HIP, I think, refers to the Hipparcos satellite, which performed a bunch of astrometrics. It found a lot of stars and it got their positional information down extremely accurately. So the Hipparcos catalog is kind of a gold standard for catalogs, for star catalogs. Okay, Tucker Landing getting nice and close. Now I can afford to actually throttle up my engines just a bit as I'm getting in within 20,000 kilometers. Almost home. I just need to make sure I don't get pirated and shot just before I arrived. Almost there. And there's somebody else flying around. Sincerely hoping. Uh-oh. Oh god, I thought that was another pirate. The sound that thing made was not happy. It was very stressful. And come on, safe disengage. Where are we? Whew, I thought the game was going to crash again. Here we go, Tucker Landing. This is an unsanctioned outpost, which is a colourful way of saying that it is a pirate outpost. I think if we get in close, we will see a bunch of skull and crossbones and stuff on it. Okay, here we go. There's my landing pad. And I guess I need to make sure I land facing the correct direction. Look at that. It may not look like much, but this is going to be my ticket to start selling my data. Ooh, what was that banging sound there? I like the spacecraft in Elite. They kind of make, clanking sounds like real ships do when they turn and everything. The structure is clearly not... has some creaks and groans and stuff in it. Okay, it's not landing pad 2, so I need to turn around it. There's pad 1, I can see the direction I'm supposed to aim. And there is a pirate logo there, a skull with an eye patch. Yes, I hope these people have a contract with Universal Cartographics, because I would dearly like to sell my data. There we go. Lined up, landing gear down. Gently does it. Gently does it. We have millions worth of astronomical data here. Regions unexplored. More importantly, it has things that will give me first discovery credit.
Engines disengaged.
Engines disengaged, and we are home free. And we have a Universal Cartographics branch here. Yeah, we can't repair right now. I should have brought that field maintenance unit so I could at least repair stuff. So I have about 2.26 million credits right now. And I will be able to sell my scanning equipment. The Advanced Discovery Scanner cost about 1.5 million, so I can add that in. Anyway, call 285 sector BQX C1-5 system. Confirm. I could sell all these one page at a time, but I kind of want to get to see what I'm selling. So I'm looking to see what I'm scoring, how much money I'm making for each. Stand by. Come on, come on. It's thinking. Uh-oh. Please don't break. Please don't break. No, this is so stressful. Oh, I'm gonna find out that the whole game's broken and I've lost all my data. Oh no! Congratulations, Commander Scott Manley. You are the first to discover Call 285 Sector BQX. So yeah, I start to find these things. Now I have first discoverer credit for a bunch of these planets. Somebody discovered the star, but they didn't go looking at the planets around it. Similarly, Mel 22 Sector EHU C3-105. Remember this? We have the high metal content planets, and this planet is a candidate for terraforming. One day, perhaps, there will be a Scott world somewhere, and I will be remembered. There will be a statue to me made of solid gold or something like that. Who knows? First discovered by Scott Manley. I don't think I actually found any place that was suitable for colonization on day one. But yeah, in the end, you know, I made a couple of million credits. That wasn't bad. It was long, tedious, and boring. But hey, I've got a bunch of things to my name. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.